growl that shook the foundation. Elara closing the iron. It screeched against the wet pavement, a jagged sound that cut through the downpour. She hauled her suitcase into the foyer, her boots clicking hard against the marble floor. Suddenly, the front door slammed shut behind her, rattling the frame. There was no wind. She dropped the handle of her suitcase and lunged for the latch, pulling, but the wood refused to budge. The air in the hallway turned freezing. A thick, biting frost formed on the interior lock. Then, the silence broke. From the dark corner, it was wet, heavy, and deliberate. Elara stepped back, her breath hitching as she realized the sound was not coming from the wind, but from the walls themselves. She pressed her spine against the door, eyes darting through the gloom. The rhythmic sound accelerated, matching the frantic thud of her own pulse. She was not alone. She moved deeper into the living room, her steps light to avoid the creaking floorboards. Dust hung in the air, thick enough to taste, coating the furniture in gray shrouds. It was not dried, it looked freshly spilled. She knelt, reaching out to touch the center of the mark. Her palm came away sticky and warm. She stared at her hand, watching the liquid spread across the granite floorboards like ink dropped into a glass of water. She grabbed the fabric and yanked it down. The glass underneath was clear. She stood frozen, chest heaving, but her reflection did not mirror her posture. While she gripped her arms in fear, the image in the glass leaned forward and broke into a wide, jagged grin. The overhead light bulb flickered, buzzed with a sharp electrical whine, and exploded. Shards of glass rained down as the room plunged into total, suffocating darkness. The walls pulsed with a rhythmic thrum, vibrating against her palms as she scrambled for the staircase. Each step groaned under her weight. She reached the landing and pushed open a bedroom door, the hinges screaming in the silence. Inside, the plaster was a graveyard of scars. Deep, jagged gouges crisscrossed the walls, carved with enough force to splinter the lath beneath. Her eyes locked on the single, freshly incised sentence, "It sees you when you remember and run." The air in the room dropped, turning her breath into a thin, white mist. She spun around, convinced a presence stood at her back. The hallway was empty, stretched across the plaster behind her, though no light source could have cast them. They shifted, mimicking the movement of someone breathing down her neck. She backed away. She fled the bedroom, but the hallway stretched, elongating into a tunnel of infinite wood. Doors slammed in a frantic rhythm. Heard the snap of bone and felt the wet heat of black liquid on her skin. She gasped. It did not strike her. It poured into her eyes, then smoothed into a terrifying stillness. She opened her eyes. The panic was gone. A calm, morning light cut through the gloom, hitting the porch, and echoed silence. The house sat in deceptive silence. A heavy knock echoed against the wood, peering into the shadows with a
the
hesitant
sun is
squint.
blinding.
Is the house okay?
Are you ready to go?
A friend asked. Elara widened her smile. "It remembers you already," she whispered. "It's a beginning of the end."